Hi guys, I'm Sara. I'm going to be taking you today through a 15-minute hip and hamstring flexibility. Really nice if you do a lot of working out, running, HIIT, CrossFit. It will open up the mobility for you to go a little bit deeper in those exercises that you do on a daily basis. As well as these days we are forward folding a lot, so it will just open up the hip flexors and give your lower back a nice release. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's do this. I'm going to give you a little bit of a side angle view. You're going to tuck your toes under to release the fascia in your feet, to make sure that all of those 10 toes are tucked under. We're just going to stretch the front bit of our quads. So some people already feel it here. Stay here, feel it out, breathe it out. If you want a little bit of an oomph, take your hands behind you, tuck the tailbone under, and you're going to be feeling it. Stay here for about a few breaths. We're going to revisit this pose. We're going to go a little bit deeper without the plantar fascia release. Nice and slow, we're going to get up. You're going to step your left foot out in front, coming into that low crescent lunge as we call it. We're going to bring a little bit of dynamic movement in. It's nice to pad the knee if you're on hard grounding. Here it's nice and soft as I'm on grass. Take your hands onto the lower back, opening the chest. Just amplifies that little pulsing sensation. And then when you're getting a bit deeper, you can make the pulses a little bit slower. I like to keep the spine engaged. You tuck the tailbone under, you'll feel it in your hip flexor more. You let it go, you go a little bit deeper down into the inner groins, left leg. Good. Try and get your knee further back. You've got that freedom. And then from here, nice and slow, take both hands down. We're going to straighten that left leg. Peel the toes towards you. I like to do something called wind wiper effect, using your foot from side to side, moving it. And then you can draw circles with your knee, which feels really nice. If your hands don't reach the ground, use a block, a brick, a pillow, whatever you have at home, or wherever you are at the moment. And then we find stillness. You can tuck the toes under, sit a little bit back, that feels good. Otherwise you can take your left leg a little bit more forward. You do little pulses here as well. Nice and slow. And then I like to always find a bit of stillness, allowing the body to relax. Coming a little bit deeper into the breath. I like to pull that left hip energetically back to really feel it in deep into that hamstring. Maybe point the toe, see what happens. And then flex it again. And then from here, nice and slow, you're going to release into that open up to lizard pose. So taking your left foot outside, you can come up on the knife edge of the foot if that feels better with your hip. Left hand onto the knee and just open up that chest. Again, always modify if it doesn't feel good. Take a little moment to experiment. If you've got open hip, you can always come down onto the forearm. That's always a possibility, but that takes quite a lot of time. And then maybe have a play with the back foot. You can just lift it. You'll feel it in the right hip flexor a little bit more. You can grab a towel, maybe wrap a towel around the foot, or maybe you find the foot. Open the chest, take a few deep breaths here. You don't need to add this open, you can stay here, more than enough. And nice and slow, walking that left foot back onto the mat. Give it a little stretch out, and then we're going to bend the knee. Hands come down, you can always use bricks or blocks or whatever you have underneath your hands. And you'll lift the back knee, and you're just going to move front and back here. Try and look forward, open the chest. Again, for people who have a little bit of depth, you can go into your forearms and move front and back. You can also straighten out the leg, come up on your finger pads and then rebend it. Next few rounds of movements are for yourself here, just experiment a little bit. And then you're going to find stillness. Release the back foot. If your knee comes slightly out, that's fine. And slowly straighten that left leg and release it. You should feel the blood draining from the leg. I'm just going to change sides so you get to see a nice view from the side. Going on to the second side, so your right leg steps forward. You're going to come up, tall spine. You can tuck your toes under on the back foot. Just move front and back here. Bring your hands even to the lower back and maybe shorten those little pulses. I like to keep the abdominals engaged. And then take a moment to find that stillness. And then slowly release both hands down to the ground. They might be either side of that right leg or inside. Wind wiper effect. Might not feel good. If it doesn't feel good, just find stillness. I like to do my little knee rounds. Muscles don't run in straight lines. Nice to give them a little bit of a alternative stretch. And then find that stillness again. I like to lean forward a little bit. Again, if you tuck your toes under on the back, go ahead. You can tuck your toes under. Some people think that's really tough on the foot. Forward fold, flexing that foot, energetically pulling that hip back. And then again, we're going to rebend that right knee, right foot comes out to the side, opening up that hip. Little pulses here if that feels good. Hand can come to the knee, opening up. Again, option to stay here or go down on your forearms, left forearm. And option to bend that back knee as well. You can stay here, goes really deep into the left hip flexor, maybe finding that foot opening the chest. Slowly, slowly releasing that. Walking the foot back closer down towards the body. Hands can ground down on a block or on the ground. Start to move front and back. You can draw circles with the hips as well if that feels good. And then you can straighten that leg and rebend it. You'll probably definitely need to come up on your finger pads like I have done, or you're on a block. Very nice little hamstring stretch here. And rebend it. And then relax the back knee. I always think about energetically pulling my right knee closer towards the right shoulder. And then if you've got that openness, maybe left forearm comes down first, maybe the right up to you. Today I'll stay on my hands. And then straighten that right leg. Good. And from here, nice and slow, we're going to come into a squat, a deep squat. So come to standing first. I like the heels in, toes slightly out. We're slowly going to go down and up. Try and find a measurement that works for your hips. Some people have different angled femur bones. And then once you feel okay, start to rock from side to side a little bit lower, yeah? Your heels might be not touching the ground, they might be just slightly up. No rights and wrongs, just different shapes. And when you're ready, you can find a bit of stillness here, hands to heart, palms pressed together, elbows pressing into the inner thigh. Open the chest, tall spine, no roundedness here. And then one leg comes in, one leg comes out. Give that a go. Rotating internally here. Nice. And from here, we're just going to straighten out the legs. Toes come in a little bit. Walk your legs further out. Wide-legged forward fold. If your hands don't reach, you can again use your block and pillow. We're going to bend the right knee, activate the left leg. Look towards the left leg. Again, your heel can raise on your right foot or it can come down. And then slowly walk to the other side. Looking over that right shoulder, flexing the foot. Nice and slow to the other side. We're going to hold it here a little bit. If you want to advance it, maybe towards a few weeks after doing these drills for some time, you can sit back and then lift up again. Sit back and lift up again. Good, let's take it over to the other side. Lengthen, sit back, tall, everything's active though, sit back. One more time. Very nice. Good, coming back up onto your hands, that wide-legged forward fold, lengthen, and then maybe you want to release, maybe you want to rock from side to side with the elbows, arms are active. Relax the head, a little bit more weight into the front of the toes. Taking your hands down, we're going to come into our beloved frog pose. Don't we love this all? Now take a moment to feel the frog pose, knees are out. Now I'll give you a little bit of a side angle view here again. So take a moment to experiment. Your back feet maybe want to come in slightly, or you have that openness to go a little bit deeper. Really depends on what your hip anatomy is like. Once you find it, come down onto your forearms if you can, or stay up on your hands. Really important just to breathe it out here. And then find that stillness. Take a few breaths here, abdominals are tight. And you can press the knees into the ground like you want to pull them together, activating the pose, and then releasing and relaxing again. Let's do that 2 more times. Activating the pose, releasing, last time. Activating the pose, releasing, and we relax here. Again, if you want to have a little bit of experiment to see what happens if you bring your toes slightly in, for me that deepens the stretch quite a lot. I sit back a little bit as well. Tuck the tailbone under, it gets a bit deeper. A few more breaths here. And then slowly, slowly coming up. Accompanying the frog pose, we'll come into butterfly. So your knees might be slightly up here. Your feet might be a little bit further away, that's up to you. Whatever feels good, you should feel it in the inner groin area. Now sitting nice and tall, little wiggles, like a butterfly. And then if you want, bring your seat a little bit closer, butterfly action again. And then press the heels together like we're doing on the ground on the frog, and then releasing it. Press the feet together, release it. One more time. Press the feet together, release it. Now you can stay here, you can add a little bit of oomph with one hand, releasing the hips down. That feels really nice. Maybe on the other side as well. Good. If you've got that tilt forward of the pelvis, keeping the spine nice and tall, elbows it in. Take a few breaths here. And from here, we're just going to pick up the knees, take them together. Little wind wiper effect action. You can take the knees over to the right. Do a little bit of forward folding over those. Right thigh. And then over to the other side. Maybe you want to find a bit of stillness here. Maybe no hands going all the way to the other side. We're going to stay here. You can keep a 90-degree angle on both and just forward fold. You should start to feel it in your outside of your right IT band and your glute. Just going to give you a nice side angle view here, what it would look like on the right side. So you're here. And then maybe you want to start going a little bit forward. You can activate little pulses as well. Remember, you should not be feeling it in the knee. Give a little movement if you do. And then also go over to one side. See what happens to the stretch. And then maybe over to this side. Yeah, my hip likes it over this side. My glutes are getting really stretched on this side, so I'm just going to take a little bow. You can start to straighten the back leg if you haven't done already. So I'll pigeon pose. I like to lengthen the spine because as I'm pushing forward, I really feel it as well in my IT band, which is that lovely stretch that you're going to feel on the outside of the right leg. Take a few more breaths here. Slowly coming up, changing sides. Good. So remember, you can keep both knees at a 90-degree angle. or you can start to go a little bit more back with that back leg. Remember those little openings here. I feel this is really nice. Experiment as well. Your left side might be a bit different from your right. And then again, I'm going to chill over here. Activating my back leg, just relaxing my foot on the ground here. And then you can always experiment with flexing your front foot. See what happens. It goes deeper into the outside of the glute. For me personally. And then I like to press my elbows into the ground and like, I want to drag myself forward a little bit. Really feel good here. 2 more breaths. Going into our last pose. Good, slowly coming up. Last pose here. Pancake pose as they call it. Upavishta Konasana in Sanskrit. So take your legs wide. Not too wide, just wide. Some people already feel the stretch here, flexing your feet. If you do, stay here. If you have the anterior tilt and you're rounding into your spine, you're going to sit on a block or a pillow and come to the edge of the pillow so you're rotating into a posterior tilt of the pelvis. And then maybe the hands come behind you, lifting the spine, opening the chest. Feels really nice to stay here. I'm feeling it in my inner groins, feeling in my hamstring, even my spine. If you want a little bit more, maybe a little bit of rocking. People like to do circle actions around the leg. Just experiment a little bit here. We're here for a minute. People like to fold over one leg and do those little pulses. If you do one side, always do the other. And then some people like just to chill. I'm keeping my legs active. Active stretch here. Crawl your hands out, opening the chest. Remember, the legs are active. If I showed you the side angle, my glutes are engaged, very active here. Going quite deep for a few more breaths. And slowly releasing. Knees come in. If that felt good, you can stop here. Otherwise, one last little pose like I promised you at the beginning. Knees come a bit wider, releasing the toes, taking the hands behind you, tucking that tailbone under, lifting up. Option to stay here, open the chest, look up. You want to go deeper, elbows down, looking up again. Breathing here, really nice to finish off with a tall spine, opening the chest. And slowly releasing. And that is your hip and hamstring stretch. I hope you enjoyed it, guys.